Hey guys, and welcome back to Common Courtesy. I'm your host and moderator, Sean Nicholas, aka Desire Some More. And with me, I have my lovely co-host. I have Stephen Galebreath next to me. What's up, Stephen?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going great. It's going great. It's good to see you again. It's good to see you again.
Good
How
to be
are
back.
things?
Everything's been good. Took some time away, but I'm back.
Good. And then on the bottom of me, I have Courtney Harbaugh. What's up, Courtney?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
You look fantastic. Fantastic, by the way. I love
Thank
you. Yes.
You too.
And thank you. I'm pretty in pink tonight.
I
Over
know.
here to the right, over here to the right, we got Nikki Prue. What's up, Nikki?
How's it going?
It is going well. You look fantastic as well. You look great in green. Yes.
Oh, thanks. I have like 900 shirts in this color, so it works out.
I love how you two kind of match. Like
I
again
know.
this week.
Say that.
We
We've got like
definitely
shirts
Yeah,
in.
like
we didn't.
all right, so getting right into hot topics in here. There's a video that's been viral from Sunday this weekend in Missouri of a couple. They're under fire. I believe their names are Mark and Patricia McCloskey. Here's a little video of what happened during a protest on their private street.
All right, y'all see he got a gun and shit, and y'all can see.
All right, so that's a little bit of what we saw this weekend, as well as what's being said is were they in their rights to pull guns on the protesters, even though they weren't actually on their properties. That's what's being said. I have so let's just go to the co-host and see how we feel. Let's start with Nikki. Nikki, how did you react when you saw this video? How are you feeling about this?
Well, I do want to say that I agree with what Courtney said earlier. Like, I don't know anything about firearms. I've never shot one. My roommate owns some. I've held them before, but I don't know how to shoot one. But somebody needs to train the both of them to hold a gun because that was kind of just, it kind of added like a silly element to it, to something that was kind of a serious thing. But I mean, I don't see how they weren't within their rights to be yelling at people who were essentially storming their neighborhood, yelling. They didn't, from what I distribute, anything violent. They didn't, they were standing on their own property. Both parties were within their rights. The people were on the sidewalk and these people were on their own property. I just don't understand. What really pisses me off and is really pissing me off lately is there seems to be a lot of intentional antagonization, and I just don't think we need it. Like, if you're going to go into a neighborhood and start screaming, yeah, people are going to probably feel like they have to defend their property and protect what's theirs. They're going to yell back. Don't go into neighborhoods with your with your pitchforks and flaming torches and expect people to be like, oh, yes, come on in. Would you like a sandwich? Like, I'm sorry, that's not the way the world works. And I'm so tired of it. I am all for supporting a cause and fighting for a cause. I am not for deliberate antagonization. And that's what a lot of this is becoming. And I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it.
Okay, and let's go to Ashley. Ashley, we were just talking about the couple in Missouri. You saw the video yourself, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go to you. How did you react to this? We were asking the question is, were they were in their rights?
Yeah, if they weren't pointing a gun at people, they would be in their right. But I mean, we saw that woman. She had her finger on the trigger. What would have happened if she accidentally shot somebody? You know, like, fine, whatever. You want to have your guns and protect your property or whatever. That's fine, but don't fucking point it at people. Like, there were nobody in the protesting crowd had a gun and was pointing a gun at them. Like, and also about antagonizing, let's think, what is a protest? A protest is meant to disrupt your comfortability. It's not supposed to be. Peaceful protests are easy to ignore. That's why everybody wants a peaceful protest. So you can be like, oh, yeah, they're doing their thing. It's not really bothering me. A protest is supposed to bother people. So fine, you want to fight back, whatever, but don't point a gun at people. At that point, I would be threatened. So then would I be within my rights to point a gun back at you?
All right, and then let's go to Courtney. Courtney, how did you feel?
I'm actually going to start by answering Ashley's question. If that situation and you felt threatened and they pointed a gun at you, then yeah, you are within your rights to point a gun at them, so long as you have the carry laws that, I mean, if you've got a weapon that is legally registered and you are well within your rights to carry that weapon where it's at, then yeah, you are within your rights to do that. But unless, like, I mean, you would hope that it wouldn't get to a firefight, but yeah, then you are within your rights, and they are within their rights to have their guns on their property, and they are legally registered firearms. From what the news has said, is that they're legally registered. They're allowed to have them. It's on their property. They are defending themselves. And you're under a state of emergency. That too. Sorry, Kyle's in the background chiming in. And
Go ahead, baby. I can't hear Kyle, but I can hear you.
okay, well, I was just aggravating. But yeah, so what Nikki was saying was what I mentioned earlier, between ourselves, was that if you're going to be banishing a firearm, you need to know how to carry it. You need to know how to hold it. You need to know, how to control it, because it's a powerful force that you have in your hands, and you can take somebody's life.
Right.
I have mine sitting behind me. The way that guy was carrying, I have the exact same thing that he had. It's an AR-15. He was carrying it wrong. The way that he was holding it, he was pointing it at his wife, and it's what we call muzzle awareness in the military. You need to be sure that you are not pointing it at somebody, because if you do have a round in the chamber and you trip and your finger slips on the trigger, then, wherever the fuck you're pointing is where the fuck it's going to fire. He did do one thing right, is that he did not put his finger in the trigger well, which is a good thing. They say that you're only supposed to put your finger in the trigger well when you're meaning to shoot somebody, and he did leave it out, so I give him props to that. We also don't know if they were on safe or not, so there's a lot of things there, but as far as what we saw, yeah, they were within their rights. And hold on, let me show you real quick how you're supposed to hold one of those very powerful weapons.
While you're doing that, let me get Steven's response first.
Go ahead and get Steven's, and then I'll show.
Yeah, so I totally agree, as someone who grew up around guns, that this guy has no idea how to hold a gun. A lot of things could have gone wrong with that, and the fact that he was basically pointing a gun at his wife is pretty messed up. But aside from that, though, if you have a group of people that are protesting and they're pretty much around the outside of your property, and with everything that's been going on and not knowing whether or not things could get violent, for some reason, if people are outside your property and you're basically just standing there to say hey, I'm defending my property, I'm not aiming the gun at you, I'm not shooting any of you guys, but if you guys escalate and you guys invade my personal space, I'm prepared to defend my personal space. So right. I don't think there's anything wrong with what the guy did other than the way he was holding the weapon. And I think there's a lot of context that's missing, because it looks like they entered a private gate or private property. It almost looks like it was his property, but I'm not sure. So I don't know why these protesters would be outside the front. And I do totally agree with protesting, but the guy was not in the wrong at all. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. He's literally just defending his personal space. That's
All
it.
right, so just a little more backstory. This is basically they were protesting towards the mayor's house, and it was a private street. And what was being said in the what they said at first in the media when they responded was that yes, there was an angry mob, and then it turned around that there was two people who were that they said were white in the crowd, like that seemed threatening as well. But my whole thing is I kind of agree with you guys as well. But at the same time, if there's an angry mob, I didn't see any of the protesters with guns because like I said, they said that they broke down the iron gate. Well, as we saw in the video, I can show it again. While they were going through the street, I mean through that street, and yes, it is a private street. Um, that gate wasn't broken down, so they were saying that they were responding to violence and things like that. So it kind of it's a story, like I'm not sure what they were trying to say, but I kind of agree with kind of what Ashley said because I agree. I see that we see protests are going on at the same time. A lot of them are peaceful. Now, what the news media is showing is a lot of like the violence that has happened. You know what I mean? But I don't think that they were actually like moving on towards, the mayor who lives on that street. So I mean, I kind of agree that yeah, I mean the former state prosecutor said that even residents living on what they called a private street cannot act in such with such impunity, and it does not extend to the street because no one was really actually on their street. And I do agree with both of you. They were kind of holding the guns incorrectly, and so was the wife who was, holding it. She was waving it in front of her husband as well. So
Remind me of Austin Powers.
yeah, so like, they look a little drunk. So my whole thing is, I don't mind. I did mind them coming out with guns because if you're afraid, I don't see you coming outside and being like, let me incite some like that's what it was like to me, incite some like violence. I would stay inside and like Courtney said, go to higher ground and start picking them off. You know what I mean? Oh, there's Mark in the background. But anywho, anybody want to respond after that before we bring our guest on?
I just want to say I didn't mean that protests should not cause discomfort. I just mean these people walked into this neighborhood and yeah, they weren't being violent. And maybe the guy went overboard by brandishing a weapon. However, he didn't shoot it, but he would have been within his rights if anybody had crossed his property. So at that point, that's what I mean. Why are you going to stay and keep chanting and yelling at somebody? No, and in knowing that he could discharge a weapon and shoot you, and then it's his fault because you didn't just move on. Like that's what I don't. Why him? Why? I just don't. That's my whole.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Oh man, now I forgot what I was gonna say.
Well, I'll go first while you're thinking.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Nikki, to your response, honestly, they do live in a gated community, and most of those gated communities, they have like, like a public, like a security force that they usually would call. Yes, they said no one showed up, but that's who you would call. I don't see the reason of you going outside and saying that you were afraid that they were going to enter your property. Most of the people that stopped were filming them. Because I'd film it too. I'm like, what the hell is this? Because they were already outside. Because like I said, the story where he came out was they broke down the iron gate. But if you saw in the video, here's the gate that he turned up. They said they broke down this gate, but as we saw them walk in, that gate was being held open and it wasn't broken down. Ashley, are you?
Yeah, I remember. So like in the video, you see it wasn't like you were saying, people weren't staying there and chanting. Like you saw the leaders, people trying to de-escalate the situation and say, come on, move on, let's keep going, which is what happened. I mean, in the protests that I went to here in St. Pete, there were people being racist and obnoxious, and a few people started to yell back at them. And then the people around us, the leaders were like, it's not worth it. Like, they're going to make us out to be the bad guys. Let's keep moving, which is exactly what happened here. And the people who did stand there were to film just in case that crazy drunk lady with that finger on the trigger pointing it at all these innocent people in case it did go off, because then people would be able to see what actually happened. No one had any intention, from what I can see, I wasn't there, but that they were going to enter onto their property. Like you said, they were on the street. So if they got shot, then no, they're no longer within their rights because those people were on the street.
All right, so we're gonna bring in our two guest performers here. We have Angelique Young-Cavalier and yes. Hey, ladies, how are you?
Hi.
Hi. All right, so let's just talk about you guys first a little bit. Hey, Lauren, how are you? Hey, Elle. So let's talk about you guys just a little bit first, and then we're gonna get your response on what you just saw on the video. Angelique, let's start with you first.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Pretty much, I am an entertainer here in Florida. I've been entertaining for about 13 years now. I have been all over the U.S. and some places out of the country performing and entertaining. I am an activist. I'm a spokesperson and a motivational speaker for the youth, and especially in the LGBTQ community. And I'm excited to be here.
I recently saw your show this weekend. It was really, really good. I love the interviews.
Let's talk about it. Culture Queens, shameless plug. It is a show that was put together by somebody in the community who really wanted Black voices to be heard. They came to myself and Elle Infiniti, and together the three of us created a show that showcased Black queer entertainers and Black trans entertainers in the community here locally in Tampa. And we got to put on a show, perform, and also talk about the different adversities and experiences that we have as entertainers in the community. Everything from being screwed on budget and pay to, racism within the community, racism in the bar scene, and different things we face as entertainers in general.
It was a very intimate conversation. I loved it. All right, Elle, let's talk to you a little bit. Let's tell the audience, if we haven't met you before, give us a little intro.
My name is Lauren, or Elle Infiniti. I've been performing for about 6 years now, I think, something like that. I'm not super active in the community. Unfortunately, I don't have time to. I work 2 jobs as well as doing like performing and stuff like that, so it doesn't leave me with a lot of time. But yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Okay, so just based on the video that we saw, Angelique, how did you feel? What was your reaction?
Okay, so there's so much to unpack in this little video. I mean, initially when I had seen the scenes of it, I actually didn't get to see the part where they come through the gate. We only actually see the end of it. Usually most people focus on the part where they're outside with their guns and you're kind of noting that these people are screaming, "Get off my property," or "Get off my street," and things like that.
Oh, I went digging, girl.
So I thank you for bringing them a full picture, because I think that little piece of information is so important. Something that Steven said is something that I agree with, is that protecting the property and being able to come outside and showcase that you're there. And you don't really have to say anything if you're on your property and you're standing there. You could either be standing there silently, you could stand there with your weapon. You don't have to have it you don't have to have it armed. You could have had it holstered. They could have had it just to showcase that they have it, and it would have had the same impact as them being, vocal and verbal and holding it and pointing it. I think personally, just from my standpoint, something that I believe Courtney said that I agree with was that these people are protesting. You kind of have to explain. I mean, you kind of have to expect it. You have to expect that when people come, down the street, that people are afraid. They're worried about their property, and they have a right to do that, and they're well within their rights to be that way. But on the backside of that, a protest, Ashley, I think, said, a protest is meant to be loud. It's meant to make you uncomfortable. It's meant to be in your face. It's meant to make you ask, what is going on? Like, what am I missing? Why is this so important? So I think that they did that, but I don't really know the basis of why they went down that street or why they went through that gate. There's a lot of, I mean, was it a shortcut to the mayor's house? Are we talking about like a Little Red Riding Hood situation where they were like cutting through to get to where they had to go because they thought it was faster, or was it like necessary? Because I mean, that started a whole nother thing. I mean, had they walked down the other road, would this have ever even happened? Would we have ever seen this? I mean, I guess that's like a what if situation to that effect. But I mean, honestly, my first thought is it's typical, it's expected. I wasn't shocked by it at all, by any means necessary. Not even the type of gun that came out of the house, be it the pea shooter the wife had or the AR-15 that the husband had. Like it's kind of expected in these kind of times and situations. And I think the only reason why it didn't escalate is because people were there with cameras and visibly being like, hey, we're recording you, we have you on camera, and we're showing you what you're doing. Like, mind yourself as you act. Like, we're not telling you can't do this, but be mindful of what you say and be mindful of what you do, because you are going to be held accountable if something goes wrong, you know? Because it seemed like they were much more upset when they came out than when they got there and they were standing there. But I mean, just to unpack it really quickly, because I don't want to take up all the time, but yeah, it was just a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like there's a lot of information, like just in the video, like because people usually just react when they first see things, and it's like, oh, they start pointing fingers. Like I said, there's a lot of sides to this story. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Missouri does have an open carry state, but it's just when it's against the law to brandish it. Like what I saw, I felt they were brandishing. That's just in my opinion. But Lauren, how did you feel and how did you react?
For me, when I saw that, I mean, I suppose everyone has the right to defend their property and things like that, but I feel like they came with it seemed like they came with a really malicious intent, you know? I mean, brandishing the guns and things like that, especially the wife who, like someone said, had her finger on the trigger. It just seems so aggressive, you know? And in this climate especially, you know, I feel like when it comes to protesting and things like that, because obviously, you know, sometimes you're going to have people who come in who are maybe doing it for the wrong reasons, maybe, or trying to start trouble, because it's been happening all over the country. You know, I feel like I get why they had the guns, but at the same time, I'm just like, it just looks so ugly. It looks very, very aggressive, you know, and it's really sad, you know, because these people, for the most part, they're just protesting. They're just, you know, it's their right. The same way it's their right to brandish those guns and things like that. It's their right to protest. You know, nobody's on your, you know, they weren't on their lawn. They weren't like walking up to them, anything like that. They were really just walking by. So what is the issue?
Right, I kind of agree with you as well. So does anyone want to respond? Ashley, I can see you. If you want to respond as well, I can just raise your hand. I can put you on screen. Anybody want to respond so we move on? Ashley's going to say something. Let me get myself out.
I just wanted to say, Angelique, like the way you presented that was just very beautiful. That was literally everything I was trying to say that I could not. So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Sorry.
I agree, Angelique. Very well worded. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with like what everybody said. I mean, but like honestly, like it's embarrassing for me to watch somebody carry those weapons that way. Like, if you're going to have them, you have to know how to use them. Like, you really do. Like, I think that's something that they'll go out, just like right when coronavirus hit, like they went out and they just bought a whole bunch of guns, but they've never fired one. They don't know how to use it. They don't know how to make sure that it's cleared. They don't know how to make sure like that they're not going to hit their children that are running by if something crazy happened. Like, you need to know how to handle these things. And if you cannot have that responsibility of being able to properly carry and hold a firearm, then you should not be allowed to have one. Like, you really should not.
Really fast. I didn't know I can put all of us on the screen at the same time.
Oh, this is dope.
It's a party tonight.
I was like, yeah.
I've been cycling between me and
I
Ashley.
feel like we've had a lot of people before. I didn't know why it was weird.
I didn't know. You can have 7. All right, so let's move on to our next topic really fast. There's been a face-off about the mask mandates in Florida and around the country. Certain people, they're saying that, it kind of debilitates their civil liberties. Just in like I said, in West Palm Beach last week, there was a commissioner workshop meeting where a couple of people from the public came forward and basically voiced their opinion. Here's just a small clip of that.
We, the people, will work day and night to clean every single seat if need be. We will get together and do a citizen's arrest on every single human being that goes against the freedom of choice. Okay? You literally cannot mandate somebody to wear a mask knowing that that mask is killing people.
It is appalling that each and every one of you sitting up there as human beings, part of the human race, the only race we have, would suggest to muffle people, to put masks on our face, to keep us from breathing oxygen, to get us to become sickly.
They want to throw God's wonderful breathing system out the door. You're all turning your backs on it. Can you prove that it's good for people to breathe carbon dioxide over and over and over again?
What about PTSD from child abuse situations? I was left in a hot car. You want to cover my face? I'm going to hyperventilate because I remember being stuck in that hot car. What about people like me? We don't matter because of the...
So that's just a few reactions from what we've been seeing at that, especially at that protest. I just kind of want to go to the audience. To the panel and see how you guys felt. How do you guys feel about the mandate? Because I hear in Florida they are making it kind of law that when you go into businesses that you have to wear them. And even as the cases rise in Florida, some of the bars have just closed down this weekend, which sucks. So, Nikki, I'm gonna go to you. How did you feel reacting, seeing that video, and what's going on in our own city?
Honestly, like I have a lot and nothing to say about the mask situation. So I'm just gonna go with if masks actually do as much as there's something that they do by requiring us to wear them now, why weren't we required to wear them before now? We closed down everything. Nobody worked. A lot of people didn't work for 5 or 6 weeks. We reopened. There's a bunch of restaurants who don't require masks, don't require anything like that. And weeks later, a month later, now it's a law. I'm fine wearing one, but I also wish everybody would stop pretending it's like a normal thing. Like, I never planned on going into the healthcare field, and wearing a mask absolutely sucks. It sucks. You can't breathe. If you have allergies at all, it's terrible. But if I really thought it was protecting the human race, I would have been wearing one for months and months and months. And I'll wear one now because it's required and it's law. I just don't understand exactly why we waited this long. And if we did, is it really? And also, there's no mask requirement. It's just wear a mask. You could wear a bandana over your face and walk into any place and they can't say anything to you. So you're telling me that they're really doing something? I can literally go like this if I want to. That's the same thing. So if there's no requirement for the kind of mask, how much are they actually doing? I just don't get it now. Why now after so long? And I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate for that, but I just don't understand it.
Courtney, we'll go to you, but let's go to Steven first.
Oh, God. This is like my least favorite topic.
I love throwing you under the bus.
So, considering the fact that I have less trust for our government than pretty much anything that exists in this universe, what I believe about coronavirus is I don't really believe anything. I think that it's a thing. I totally think that it's a thing, so don't take that in the wrong way. I think that people are getting coronavirus, and I think coronavirus is bad. But I think the numbers are being blown out of proportion, and I think the extent of how serious it actually is way blown out of proportion. So I'll wear a mask because on the off chance that it actually might help protect people, I'll wear it. But since the beginning of this, literally since the first day I saw something on the news about this, I've questioned it ever since. And further research has proven to me that this is way less serious than we believe it to be. I think it's 100% political, and I think coronavirus is a big crock of shit. It exists, but it's a big crock of shit. So I'll wear it to protect other people on the chance that it's actually a thing, but I don't trust anything I'm being told about it. So that's where I stand. I'm like 50-50 in the middle.
Courtney?
I am with Steven and Nikki on this one. Like both of you guys, like 100%. I agree with Steven. Like, I really honestly, like, I don't fucking trust this shit. Like, I know somebody who personally got tested and came back positive for corona and was literally not sick at all. So, like, I don't. Also, the tests are not FDA approved. There's just like a whole thing there. I'm not getting into this right now, but like the mask thing, I really like. So, what Nikki was saying that she could just like pull her shirt up. I saw this thing. I went to Montana recently, had to go on the airplane and fucking wear a mask everywhere. It was fucking annoying. However, there was a guy who I guess he forgot his mask or lost his mask or whatever, because that shit happens all the time. He actually put like a Chick-fil-A wrapper or like a Hardee's wrapper over his mouth, and that was his mask for the flight. Like, and that was okay. That was allowed. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, and like people are literally like, I've seen it. Like, I saw it going through the airports will make your skin crawl. There are people who are literally doing like the freaking hamburger wrappers around their face. And then there are people who came off of the tram in full hazmat suit. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's your thing. Like, I'm not like, okay, so I'm not gonna like fight over it. Like, you want me to wear a mask, whatever, I'll fucking wear a mask. Like, I don't like, honestly, it is not worth it for me to throw a fit and get into a fight with somebody, because like, I'm sorry, I can't get into a fight with somebody when they're just like honestly just believing everything the media tells them. And like, if you're not doing your own research and you're just listening to everything the media puts out, like, you like, it doesn't make you smart. Like, and I'm not trying to get into an argument of wits. Like I'm not doing that when their fucking common sense could not power a pissant's fucking go-kart around a Cheerio. I'm not doing it. Like, fuck it. I'll put a fucking mask on. I don't give a shit. Fuck you.
Angelique, I'm gonna go to you. How did you react seeing that video, and how do you feel about Florida and their mandate?
Okay, I'm going to try to do this as best as I can to go through all of this, because there's a lot, once again. So the video itself showcases a group of people who are saying that they don't want to wear masks because they feel like it's a violation of their freedom, and they felt like the mandate was affecting their way of life, the way that they were living, and their choices. Which, to be fair, although this is mandated, and although that they're telling people that you should wear a mask, and that each area or each county is saying, hey, please wear a mask. It's not just for you, it's for the other people around you. Their reactions, while wildly crazy to me, I think are still validated in the fact that they have concerns for themselves. As somebody who is immunocompromised and as somebody who is at risk at all times, I don't have the luxury of being careless and not cautious about how somebody standing next to me can make me sick. So that being said, these people, I think, are outrageous and just not wanting to do what, like Courtney said, if it's that big of a deal, you either just put the fucking mask on to go outside and go do what you got to do. And then when you're home, take the mask off. It's not killing you. It's not going to. So what? It's a little thing. It's better than them putting us in, uniforms and separating us and saying like, oh, you have to wear orange if you're fucking sick and green if you're not. They could totally run this down on us and make this so much worse. Because as Steven said, the government is fucking nuts. So while I agree with you guys on that, here's where I do not agree with you guys. Of the people here in this room, show of hands or a quick yes or no, how many of you work in the actual medical field whatsoever? Anybody work in the medical field? Anybody work as a nurse, an aide, nursing home, hospital, mental? How many of you have ever thought for a second to even reach out to a mental health facility, a nursing home, or a hospital, daycare, urgent unit care, anything? Nobody, right? So the reality is that if you actually go and you talk to these places and you listen to what they have to say about their instances, there are places like my facility, Grace Point Wellness, which is a mental health facility that we have had no actual cases here in our facility because of the process of what we do to send people out to get tested. Have people that have come to our site tested positive? Yes, but not while they were in the site. We've sent them off before they come in the building. We have a very big process on how we do it to keep our employees safe and keep our people safe. But this does not discount the fact that there are facilities, like every single hospital in the area has seen coronavirus to some extent. Some are worse than others. And up until now, we actually have been a very blessed state. Up until recently, the virus has been actually located more on the outskirts. So for Tampa and Clearwater, we actually have had the least amount of cases presented out of all the other counties and cities within the state. That being said, I am connected with a bunch of other people in the health field. One of my best friends works for Mount Cedars-Sinai in California and has had to literally work on the unit and put himself at risk, wear a mask for 16 hours to the point where his face is bruised and beaten because people are getting sick. He's had employees call out, end up in the units themselves. They've lost doctors to this virus. So to say that it is not real or that it doesn't have the weight that it has, I think what happens here is that once again, in another situation, kind of like what we're dealing with the Black Lives Matter, it doesn't really hit you until it fucking hits you. It's like a friend with cancer or a family member who gets killed by gang violence. You know it exists, but you don't feel it until it truly touches you. And you can't wait for things to touch you to believe that they're real. There are things that you can question, like God, and is there aliens in the universe? But when it comes to scientific diseases that are proven to have effect on people, we have to have a little bit more of an open mind and kind of realize that these things are affecting other people, even though they're not affecting us directly. So I would like and hope that by the end of this, everybody has a different standpoint just slightly on the virus itself, because it is real. It is affecting people. I've lost 3 people that I know and love to this virus that I could not go to their funerals because if I would have went, I would have put myself at even more risk. So for me personally, I have to disagree with the most of you who are saying that it's not something to worry about or care about, because it is real, it is affecting people, and it is changing lives. The mass aspect of it, I say, like everybody else, if you really are bothered by it, don't go into a public place. Don't go shopping at the mall, and if you do, wear the mask for 5 minutes. It's not going to kill you. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me too, living my whole life the past 3 months. For the first part of the coronavirus, I stayed indoors. I didn't have to go outside. I'm also an introvert, so going out is not really my favorite thing in the world. I'd rather be at home and not have to deal with it. But the reality is that I need food, my car needs gas, and I have to be in these places. So I have to put myself in these situations. So I have to be smart about it and I have to protect myself, if not to protect other people. Because the symptomatic people are the people that are giving the virus the most. Those are the people who don't even realize it. I have a friend who actually works in a restaurant. She was asymptomatic, and because she got tested and tested positive, her restaurant is now closed for 2 weeks. Because that girl didn't wear a mask and didn't take care of herself, now an entire business is out of work for 2 weeks, and everybody that's attached to that business is now gone. And that's here in Florida. So you have to be very mindful that sometimes there's other diseases out there that you could get where you're asymptomatic. Shit, there's sexually transmitted diseases you can be asymptomatic and give it to people and be sexing and having all your fun, and then they're coming up with all these bumps and warts, and you're like, bitch, I don't got nothing. Sorry about your luck. But, that's the reality of it. So the reality is that when you're in these situations, you have to kind of think about it from outside the context. Like, if you've never had an STD, God bless your heart. If you've never had a sickness or a disease, God bless your heart. You're lucky. You're a blessed one. You are truly a percentage of people that are unaffected. And for that, I'm happy for you. And I pray you never have to deal with that. But don't turn your back so blindly on the fact that there are people who are experiencing this and that they are unfortunately compromised, so they don't stand a chance before it ever hits. The only good thing now about here as we stand versus earlier is that they now are aware of it. They know how to deal with it a lot better, and it's not a complete shock. So people have a higher survival rate now. They have a better chance of surviving. They have greater odds than we did back in March when it smacked us and we weren't ready for it. I'll stop.
Right. I can listen to you all day, Ashley. Yeah, that was everything. Ashley, do you care to respond? How did you feel?
Yeah. So a couple things. First of all, Angelique, you keep saying everything that I want to say. Second of all these people on Facebook, all these comments, Mason, Matcha, like I'm living for you. Shell, I love you guys so much. And then also, I don't work in a health field. However, I am a crisis counselor. And every night when I log on for my shift, I talk to at least one person. And that's just because it's been slow lately. At least one person who has lost multiple loved ones to this disease. So it hurts me whenever I hear people say, oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, this is nothing bigger than the flu. Like, no, it's real and people are really dying and you're invalidating their experiences. And that's disgusting, quite frankly. As far as the mask goes, first of all, let me respond to that video. Fucking dumbasses. Sorry, I had to.
Nah, it's cool because I can't wait to respond either.
Yeah, I don't know where these people are getting this idea that like you're breathing in carbon monoxide and like you can't breathe oxygen through a mask. Like what? Like it's fabric that's breathable, which means that you can breathe through it and the carbon dioxide gets dispelled through it. So like, and to answer Nikki's question, the reason why it's becoming an issue now is because in the beginning we were naive. No one knew what coronavirus was. We didn't know how to fight against it, you know? But now we do. We're a few months in. So now we're like, oh, well, this has been proven in the last few months to do something. And even just covering your face with your shirt or whatever, like I'm a sex teacher, so I'm going to go into sex mode, but it's a barrier method. So just how condoms will prevent you from getting STDs because there's a barrier there, anything, even your shirt, even a Chick-fil-A wrapper is a barrier. So your spit, which is where the disease is transmitted, cannot get through that barrier to get to somebody else. So it doesn't matter what you're using as a mask, as long as a mask is being worn. And this isn't about yourself. This is about everyone else. You know, most of us are really, all of us are young, you know. I don't know everyone's history, but a lot of us probably have a chance of surviving this if we get it. But think about those who don't. Like, it broke my heart seeing that elderly woman in the video. Like, she's one of the people who would probably die if and when she gets it. And I hate to say that because I feel like a shitty person, but she is. And that's why we have to do it. Like Angelique was saying, it doesn't matter if it's not directly happening to you. We have to learn to have enough empathy to care about things that aren't directly affecting us. We have to care about those people who are around us for the fact that they're human beings and their lives have value.
Right.
And I think that's it.
And then Lauren, just to get to you, how did you feel about, how are you feeling? Because I know, I mean, like I said, everyone's being affected differently and they're having different feelings about things and things like that. How did you feel? Can you hear me?
I think Angelique hit a lot of points that I was certainly thinking about talking on. I can tell you from my personal experience, my uncle died from it in New York. I had another uncle in New York who had it, who said it was really bad, and my cousin in New York had it. I've been seeing on my Facebook, like a lot of people in Tampa, a lot of friends, you know, they're starting to get it. So it has to be, I mean, it can't be fake. You know what I mean? Maybe it doesn't, you know, affect everyone the same way that it does maybe people who are more at risk. Like myself, I have really bad asthma. I don't want to catch it. So if you're in public, I would appreciate you having a mask on, because even though maybe you don't have any symptoms, you just never know if you have it. You know, I don't think it's too much to ask. You know,
right.
To have some basic, you know, decency about yourself, care about somebody else. You know, I know it's annoying to have to wear them. I have to wear them too. It's gross. It's sweaty. It's especially here in Florida. There's a lot of humidity, and it's really hot. So I get it. Nobody wants to wear them, but I mean, at the end of the day, you should. Yes, exactly. It's about empathy, you know, because you might not have the issues that everybody else has, but you could literally be killing this person, and you don't know it.
All right.
You know,
So
I don't know. Pardon?
So I was just saying, like, because myself as well, like, I had friends in New York who are suffering, and a couple of friends that had relatives that died of COVID-19. And just for me, like, I heard a conversation I was at a bar, and this guy was saying, it's my, right to get COVID-19 or a virus if I wanted to. And like, I get that and I understand it. But what people aren't understanding is that wearing the mask is not really protecting people. Is protecting you, people from you. It's holding back your saliva. If you sneeze, whatever, whatnot, you're talking. It's kind of like what Ashley said. It's a barrier. It's protecting others from you, because we don't like everyone's saying that we don't know if it's asymptomatic. And I kind of look at this protest of these people. They always got to bring God into shit. I don't know why, and what I mean, I get it, but I don't know what they were bringing him in, the religion part, into this. When it's science, it's basic. Yeah, it's always, because it's like the crazy farm shit. Like, what the hell are we saying? Like, I didn't understand. This girl, she's like, you can't literally, the mask is killing people. Since when? Like, I've seen in New York City that the numbers have gone down, and I have been out in Florida, and you see these people are walking around willy fucking nilly, not wearing a mask, not even trying to, and saying things like that. And then they're seeing the numbers rise and the bars closing and wonder why. That's just kind of me. I don't think this is a fake thing either. I think it's something we got to get through. Anyone else before we move on, because we're running out of time?
Sorry.
We're gonna go to Steven and then Courtney and then
we'll move on.
Okay, so this is coming from someone who's like 50-50 on it. Like, again, I can't reiterate enough. I believe that coronavirus is a thing. I believe it's real. I believe that people are dying from it, and I believe that it's a problem. But the extent of the problem and how big of a deal this really is, and what the source and the origin of this virus is highly questionable. And for everyone that does think that, of course, this is like a big problem, as big of a problem as it seems like it is in the media, I don't have conclusions. I just have things that I question. So an example I would give is, in the peak of this during quarantine, I went on YouTube, like, take this with a grain of salt. I'm just giving something that I found. Take this with a grain of salt. I went on YouTube and I typed in empty hospitals, and I went to most recent, because if you go to most relevant, it's going to be filtered out. So on YouTube and on Instagram, anything that's current with coronavirus or anything like that, if you go to most recent, you'll find what people have just posted before it's been filtered. There were several videos of people inside the hospitals that were like the epicenters of coronavirus, like the places that were being broadcasted on the news, the places that were being broadcasted everywhere. And these hospitals are literally empty. Like, there's people that are getting laid off. The news is portraying these hospitals as being overflowed, like people running in and out, like lines out the door, people with coronavirus, and they're empty. Like, yes, there's people that have it, and yes, there's definitely people that are dying. I have a lot of people in my family that are super high at risk for getting coronavirus and dying from coronavirus. So I'm not discrediting coronavirus, but there is a lot of gaps and a lot of holes and a lot of problems in what's going on with this virus in the world. And I don't think people are looking deep enough into this. So I think it's just something that should be researched more. I don't have conclusions, but there's definitely more that should be looked into it before anyone makes any solid conclusions and trust everything that the media is telling them.
Right. And Courtney, what did you want to respond with?
Listen, I am just going to fucking agree with Steven. Like, that's exactly, like, I think coronavirus is real. I fully do. And I feel like when I have to go to appointments and they're going to test me again, because I go through the VA, they're going to test me. And I'm going to ask for the antibody test, because I'm almost 100% positive that I've had it before. But, like, it's real. I do think it's real. I think that the media is instilling fear into people, and I can give you a lot of ideas of why I think they're doing that. And like, it's real. It's real. Like the flu is real, like syphilis and herpes, like it's all real. It is.
Yeah.
I really feel like this is something where people need to stop being so fucking terrified of something like it is the end all be all, like this is the zombie apocalypse. It's not. Stop being nasty. wash your fucking hands. Like, it's not like if this teaches you anything, Jesus Christ, keep your hands out of your pants and wash your hands. Like, if it teaches you anything, like, I mean, if this is what it takes for you to stop digging your hands and scratching your nuts and then touching the gas station thing, I'm totally fine with that. Like, because I so much time and I cannot even tell you. I thought about it, like it was the one thing that I never thought about was the gas station handles. And then I saw somebody, I was like,
the video,
I wonder what people are doing. And I looked and literally some dude was scratching his nuts and then went to go get gas. And I'm like, never again.
Tries to be safe.
Wash your hands, clean your belly buttons, you know, clean behind your ears. Like, be clean. Because coronavirus, the flu, syphilis, herpes, what is that disease that makes you puke a lot? The norovirus or zorovirus? I don't know what it is.
Ebola virus?
No.
Yeah, remember when that shit was going to end the world? What happened to Ebola virus? That just magically disappeared out of nowhere.
Whatever happened to the Zika virus? The Zika virus was the one that was going to end the world, wasn't it?
Has anyone seen a murder hornet?
No, I haven't.
I think I killed one in my living room. It was weird looking. I don't know. It was like it was a bee, and it was like it was like this big. It was fucking huge. I'm like, murder hornet, and like I killed it.
All right.
They don't move very fast, so
don't trust the media.
I think, because honestly, you know, when sometimes I watch like places like Fox News, and they always talking about, this is one thing I don't like about the media. Every time like anyone gets shot, they always have to say, oh, they had a criminal record, as if justifying that the shooting was okay. I'm like, so are we shooting them for a crime they committed 10 years ago or resisting arrest today? You know, like that's the one thing about the media that I don't really trust. And that's why I don't really trust them with this. But also as well, we are seeing, you know, officials when they first talking about it on TV without wearing masks. We got to move on. Anywho, all right. So we're going to do some fun shit because I want to talk about decriminalizing sex work. We can get in that really fast. But first, we got to have a little fun. And I love talking about, you know, relationships and sex. And I want to ask the panel, what really turns us on? I'm going to start with Courtney first because she's pouring a glass of wine. And I just want to know, like, what really turns, because I think it's better, like, if you know yourself. So, Courtney.
Do you want me to bring Kyle in for this? Because I could give you a demonstration.
Oh my God, no.
I'm just kidding. No. That was okay. Now where my mom turns off the computer, like, stop watching, Mom. Like, okay, and now I'm getting hot. Are we talking about like our own personal things, or like what like somebody does, or like something like you see somebody and you're like,
whatever turns you on.
Okay, y'all are gonna think I'm nasty, but I don't care.
Oh, yes.
Listen, when Kyla comes home and he is dirty and sweaty and like covered in grease, and he's got like grease under his nails, and he's just like, he's been lifting tires all day and his muscles are all blown out, and then he takes off his shirt and I'm like, I know you smell like shit, but I don't care. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's something about it, like a man's man. Like this weekend, I work on wood, and one of our friends, like actual, like
what she said.
Actually, both sense of the intersection that I do. Yes, both of them. So one of our friends has these old, really, really beaten down railroad ties. And so Kyle and I had to pick them up and move them so they would dry. And just like watching him just like lift them, I was like, yeah. Like, I don't know, something about it. Like when they're like, if like ever meeting a guy that's got like manicured nails and like a clean haircut and like all nice and like whatever, like yeah, you're like, yeah, no, you got a pretty face, but you literally have nothing to offer me. And I tell Kyle all the time, like when he does stuff for me, like we go to Lowe's and he like picks up the wood and like puts it in the cart, I'm like, loud as fuck, and he hates it. I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't marry a pussy ass little man. Like, could you imagine if I married somebody and I'm like, I need help with this wood, and he's like, I can't.
Why
Okay.
not?
All right, so let's go to Angelique. If that's okay, we can go to you and answer this question. If that's okay.
No, absolutely. No, I love sex and I love everything about it. So no, things that turn me on. I'm really big on kissing. I think if somebody can kiss, it's something that literally will get me in the mood immediately and change my mind. I could be saying no, but if you kiss me, or if you kiss me in the right spot, like in one of my little spots, I will definitely go through, toes curl. Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I hate you so much right now because now I'm all worked up and now we got to do something because you can't start. I always tell my like lovers or whatever, don't start the car if you're not ready to drive. Like, I cannot fucking handle it. I'm getting hot just thinking about it. Like, I love it. It's something that I really, really love. And I like being like manhandled. I like a man that can pick me up. If I get, the second you do that, if you pick me up, I'm like, okay, to the nearest bedroom, post, wall, house, whatever. If we can't even get that far, that's fine. Like, I'm very much about that. I'm 5'5". I'm a little girl. So like, so I love it. I love when my men make me feel like a little woman. I'm very old school, hopeless romantic. So I kind of like that whole misogynistic bullshit. I think it's a turn on. I love it. I like that. I like being made to feel like a woman. I do. I'm very, to, pull my hair, all that good stuff. I'm very into it. Yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
Yes, we did. So I already picked it. I was like, this whole group is something I can get down with. I love it.
Yes.
Can we give a PSA to the men right now and like women who are lesbians too, because they do this shit? Like, can we not like, hold on, what are we doing here? Can we not like go like this? That's not like,
no,
that's
gotta be up.
No, you have to reach up from behind and then pull. Like, don't grab a ponytail and yank it. Like, it's like I'm fucking with my sister and I'm 13 again. Like, reach around and grab the hair. Don't like.
I mean, if it's up in the ponytail, that's fine. I think men watch the porn too much, so the guys are like doing this thing, and so that's where it comes from. But it's all right.
This like the back of the hair and just like a nice yank.
You gotta hold the head. It's like pulling in the head. It's
like an art. No, you pull my hair. No, I grew up with 3 sisters. Don't fucking pull my hair like that.
Start having flashbacks and shit. I'm like, no, it's ruined. I can't do it.
Steven, let's get a man's opinion in this. There's a lot of women.
Man, this is my favorite question. Okay, I'm just gonna come straight out. I've had a lot of tequila. I've got a wall literally in my bedroom right now with like $500 worth of sex toys just hanging from it. I just bought a $100 vibrator. I've got 2 other vibrators and a whole bag full of all kinds of shit like butt plugs and nipple clamps and all kinds of stuff like that. So the dirtier and the nastier and the kinkiest shit that you can possibly think of, if you're about that, I'm about that 100% all the way. Hold nothing back. The more animal it can be, the more primal it can be. I am all the way about it. There is nothing. I mean, there's maybe like 1 or 2 things you could tell me I'm not into. Other than that, just give it to me all. The more primal and dirty and nasty it is, just all the way. Let's go. Let's have a good time.
Steven, do you let them?
What?
Oh, he's totally down. He definitely is.
Wait,
for what? The what?
Finger in the butt.
yeah, it feels good as fuck. It feels so good.
That's what I thought. I thought we were playing like what's the
There's a G-spot in their ass for a reason.
Charades. Yeah, I was like,
let's go to Ashley real fast and.
Oh God, why do I have this spotlight? Okay, well, after all that, totally gonna masturbate after this. But for real, so like physical things. So I'm bisexual, right? And collarbones on women. Yeah, and then like veins on men. Like really veiny arms. Like I also like really skinny boys who look like they do coke for every meal. Unfortunately, but all the ones that like me on Tinder are like these fitness gurus, and I don't get it because I'm chubby. Like I feel like they're trying to convert me or something. But I will say, Courtney, like these little like girly boys. they have been the dirtiest and roughest and like put me in a coma type shit. Okay, I'll share the story. This is something that I haven't told anyone. So I went to my friends with benefits house, right? And we were both pretty drunk, so this should not have happened, but it did. He's like the roughest I've ever been with, which is like top notch, like literally like treat me like an object, which is funny because I'm a feminist. But
we love that shit. It's
he took this sweatshirt that I'm wearing right now, choked me with it, and I was like, yes. Oh my God, keep doing that. Like, I don't know if it's like a lack of oxygen thing or if it's like oh my God, he could literally kill me right now. That is hot. And I trust him not to, or he can. I don't really care. But that's, yeah.
That's
like,
you.
I'm submissive as fuck. And that is the end of it.
Most women are.
Yeah, Lauren, let's go to you. How do you? What the? I can't.
I think she's muted.
We can't hear you, babe.
Oh, there.
Can you hear us now, Lauren?
Oh no!
No, your mic's not working.
We can't hear you.
Damn it!
Gotta pick.
Hold on. All right, Nikki, you go ahead and answer.
Would do it to us.
Nikki, you go ahead and answer, and she'll come back. Nikki, go ahead and answer the question.
Okay. First of all, I'm just gonna say, like, Steven, I dated like multiples of you in my younger. The amount of like just money either I spent or my partner at the time spent on, and the crazy shit that I had accumulated as far as toys and whatever. Like, love that shit. It's great fun. However, like my biggest, like I've figured out, like my biggest act.
What is Steven going to go get?
Yes, do it. Oh, I'm trying to be quiet because I don't have kids.
Are we getting a demonstration?
All right, keep going, Nikki.
And show us your.
Okay.
No, listen, that thing is a fucking back massager. That's
my new one.
No, the other thing. The other thing. I have the other thing.
One, and this is the best financial investment I have ever made in my entire life.
Right?
No, but the other thing is like a velociraptor to your vagina. It does not feel good. That thing.
Yeah, I don't have that one, but I do have a similar one that I bought 3 to 4 separate times. Once I had a weirdly jealous, angry ex-boyfriend cut the cord on me until he realized what that meant. So I bought another one. It cost me, I think, $25. It has a bunch of different like little settings. It's a plug-in. I only use one of them and it's amazing. And I love it. And I'll never spend any, I'll never use batteries again. It's fucking phenomenal. However, and like I loved it. But I realized like over the years, my favorite, like my real, like the real thing is like dirty, like talking dirty, but like unexpectedly. Like just like where it's like, you know, it comes naturally and it's organic and just
you're in Costco.
Yeah, you're anywhere, you know, and then it just leads to whatever, or even if it's just like in the middle of it, it doesn't matter. Like if it's just like an unexpected, like it's not a forced, it's just like you really know that you like made this person that like that's my favorite. That's like
I fuck with the girl calling me daddy big time.
Oh God.
It's either sir or daddy, one or the other. There's no in between.
Dude,
it's
I
sir or
dated a
daddy.
guy who had
daddy.
That, but like she was like he told me a story and she would be like, yes, sir. And he would be like, I told her to turn over and she fucking did it quick.
All right, so let's go to Lauren real fast and then baby, can we hear you now? No. Speak again.
Damn it.
I heard her.
Wait.
I know.
Oh no.
Wait, guys, don't speak. Keep talking, Lauren.
No.
I don't know why I can't hear her.
Oh, have her type it and we'll speak for her.
Okay. Can you type it into the private chat and I'll answer? Because I can't hear her.
I can't hear her.
I don't know why that's happening.
No.
We want to hear you, Lauren.
We have a technical difficulty. I'll save the day. Well, I'll come in first and then we'll work on Lauren while she's doing that. So I don't know. So everyone went. Okay, like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm kind of with like Courtney, you know, when you're like, it's just that masculine shit. You know, I've kind of got into I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I kind of got into like, you know, kind of fantasy like wrestling a little bit. Cause you know, I love a man with like a hairy chest and like, you know, in like tidy whities or something like that. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Kyle just walks around the corner naked. He goes, "Tell Sean I'm gonna wrestle him."
Oh God. No, don't say that. I'm already no. I don't know what type of relationship y'all have, but
Show us
like we were talking about this, like, you know, in line. I mean, on in the chat, and like really, I've kind of got into it because it's kind of hot. I love hairy dudes, you know, not like too hairy, but like just on the chest, you're getting in. You know, there's just something about that just kind of gets me on. Like, you have a nice body, you gotta have a nice body. But then again, I don't know. I'm kind of with Nikki. If you can like kind of talk and like, you know, Angelique, if you can talk and like kind of like make out.
Oh,
I'm there.
Combination.
I think somebody whispering in my ear and then making out me right after is like an instant, like, here's my pen. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, you could, baby, you can drive my car, right? Like,
I don't have a stick shift. But I'm feeling I can shift your stick. It's totally fine.
And I do agree.
I got a slap shifter on my steering wheel. We're good.
Oh Lord. Ashley, I kind of agree with you because like sometimes I see like, you know, I have like issues, boys are kind of rough. Like, I don't know what's going on, you know, at home with them, but like it kind of like it's like mind blowing. Like, you just kind of like don't know where you just were. You know, it's kind of like I just beamed down back to earth, like Scott.
They have something to prove, those boys. Like the ones who aren't masculine, like they're seen as not masculine in society, so they're like, okay, I'm gonna fucking ravish somebody.
I'll show you, girl.
And they're proving it.
I'll be straight up, like I don't see myself as like a fully masculine man. Like, I have a lot of feminine tendencies, and I have no problems with that at all.
Yeah,
but I feel like that does definitely make me want to like work harder for it in the bedroom, and I mean, it pays off. So like, I have no problems with it at all. Like, I'm a pretty boy. I like take care of my hair. I got a nice haircut all the time. But when it comes to the bedroom, there's no fucking around. There's no fucking around. What gets done gets done.
Steven.
Lauren, let's see what we got. Let's see if we have
totally fine.
Hear me now?
Yes.
So, I really, really, really have a thing for guys with beards. I think beards are very comfortable.
Yeah.
I love, like, I kind of love hairy guys too. I like a nice, good hairy chest. You know, I mean, I don't want it to look like something's died on your chest, but like, I definitely want, like, you know, I like a nice hirsute young man. I really am like a sucker for kissing. Like, the sad part is that a lot of people don't really know how to kiss, you know, and I've definitely had more than one guy just like stick his tongue in my mouth and just leave it there like a dead fish, and I'm just there, like, whoa, like, you know, I don't know what to say to that, you know.
There is nothing.
So I
can't teach people how to kiss.
No.
I like guys with nice butts and legs, like rugby player type body type, you know, like I think that's so sexy.
Forgot
to
mention that.
The sad part is that I have a very similar type to one of my friends. I'm not gonna name her name, Angelique. I think you can definitely understand what I'm saying, because I think our paths have crossed just a couple times.
More than I'd like to admit. Definitely picked up a couple of years. It's fine.
I mean, you know, but truth is that, like, I love smart guys too. There's nothing worse than for me to like sit there and talk to a guy and it's like talking to a rock or a fucking wall. You know, there has to be conversation there, or I just can't. You know, I can't be turned on by you. No matter what you do to me, I'm just like, God, you're fucking dumb. Like, I don't want to have sex.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%.
so many guys, especially because I don't look my age. A lot of younger guys hit on me. So like when they do, I'm always like, fuck, like you're so dumb. I don't like you. Like, why couldn't you have good opinions on something? Why couldn't you have something to bring into the conversation instead of just talking about how lit you were gonna get last night? And I don't know.
As a 21-year-old, I am offended.
Look, I have 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds trying to talk to me. You know, sometimes I'll be like, okay, you know, it just kind of depends. You know, like. But for the most part, you have to have something to say to me, because if you are just sitting there like scrolling through your phone talking about how like you're just getting drunk this weekend, I'm just like, ugh, okay.
Over it.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye.
I gotta jump in on that. Like, you know, those rugby guys, like I love Australian football and rugby because like you gotta really watch it, because like when the ball gets in the middle and they're all trying to get it.
Same.
It's
See,
so
now,
It's a moment. It's a moment.
I don't
baseball guys, though. Baseball guys.
Oh my God, so underrated. Baseball guys are so underrated.
They've got the best butts. Like, I don't like baseball as a sport. I feel like it's fucking boring. Like, I really don't. But anytime they're like, you want to go watch a baseball game? I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to walk across the baseball stadium? Yes, I do. As a matter of fact.
Lauren was saying, sorry. Sorry, go ahead, Lauren.
Have the best asses, like for real, they have the best legs and asses, and a lot of them are gay, and it's like, damn, what now?
Were you talking about baseball players or rugby players?
I'm talking about male figure skaters or
oh my God, Adam like ripping something like that. Holy shit.
Or like
Rip on, I don't care.
Hockey players, even hockey players have really nice legs and
they do. It's like
I think
Sydney Cross can have my kids. I swear.
They do. No, I grew up in Montana where they played hockey all the time, and I was like, where did you get your butt?
Like we need a hockey workout for me. And I'll
all right, guys. So the consensus is that we all like, you know, nice asses, you know. So do I. I'm not gonna lie. First thing I'm kind of nervous. Yeah.
Don't speak for all of us.
Oh wait, it's not for Ashley. She's on the outskirts. So I mean, you know, that she hasn't gotten it yet. So anyway, all right. So we're out of time. I just kind of want to thank Angelique and Elle Infiniti, Lauren, for joining us this evening for this scintillating conversation. We'll see you guys next week, Tuesday at 10:10. Again, I am Sean Nicholas. Next to me, I have Nikki Prue, and then I have Courtney Harbaugh. What's up, Ashley Renee and Stephen Galebreath. We will see you guys next week. Cheers.
Okay, bye.